University Challenge. Asking the questions and more
Hello and welcome to University Challenge. At stake tonight is the fourth and final place in this year's semi-finals. The teams from Edinburgh, Imperial and Manchester are all safely through already, and the team that wins this last quarter-final will join them. The team that loses will, sadly, be leaving us. The team from Merton College, Oxford, won their first and second round matches convincingly against Darwin and Churchill College, Cambridge. Their first quarter-final against UCL was more competitive, but Merton still managed a hard-fought 10-point win. In their second quarter-final, however, everything just seemed to go wrong for them. They spent the first 10 minutes on -20 and were lucky that their opponents, Edinburgh, didn't pick up more of what they dropped. They did still answer well in that match on film and literature, and their average score remains around 160 points. Let's meet the team from Merton College, Oxford, once again.
Hi, I'm Kieran Duncan. I'm from High Wycombe and I'm doing a PhD in English literature.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Ong. I'm from Singapore and I'm studying for an undergraduate degree in mathematics and philosophy.
And their captain.
Hi, I'm Elliot Cosnett. I'm from Hatton in Warwickshire and I'm studying for an undergraduate degree in history.
Hi, I'm Verity Fleetwood Law. I'm from Amersham in Buckinghamshire and I'm studying English and French.
They're facing this year's team from Darwin College, Cambridge, who have already beaten two Oxford colleges on their way to this point, Green Templeton and Magdalen. They lost to Sheffield in their first quarter-final, but kept themselves in the competition with a very impressive win over Warwick in their second. In that latter match, they demonstrated a lot of knowledge of fine art, music theory, and both modern and early modern literature, but slightly less knowledge of African geography and types of moss. Darwin's average score so far is 155. Let's meet them for the fifth time.
Hi, I'm Lewis Strachan. I'm from North Lanarkshire and I'm doing a PhD in parasite biology.
Hello, I'm Ruth Newver-Hurtig. I'm from Cork in Ireland and I'm studying education.
And their captain.
Hello, I'm Louis Cameron. I'm from London and I'm doing a PhD in English.
Hi, my name's Jonathan White. I'm from Buckinghamshire. I'm studying for a PhD in geography.
Welcome back. It's very nice to see you all, and I think you know how this works. So let's get straight into it. Fingers on buzzers. Here's your first starter for 10. The group known as Los Tres Grandes, or the Big Three, was a trio of 20th century Mexican artists known primarily for creating what specific...
Merton Ong.
Murals.
Well done. It is indeed. Your bonuses, Merton, are on treaties conducted between the government of the United States of America and Native American nations. Okay. One of the first of such treaties was that made at Fort Pitt in 1778, whose first article states that all offences or acts of hostilities be mutually forgiven and buried in the depth of oblivion, never more to be had in remembrance. It was made during the War of Independence with the Lenni Lenape people, known to Europeans by what name? Also that of a river, a bay and a state.
Delaware, I think.
Yeah.
Delaware?
Yes. Following the 1830 Indian Removal Act, the Treaty of New Echota was agreed in 1835 between the US and a rogue delegation from what nation? Despite the delegation having no right to represent this people, the treaty ceded the tribe's ancestral lands in the southeast and led to their forced march to what is now Oklahoma, a journey known as the Trail of Tears.
Oh, Cherokee? The Cherokee, I think. Cherokee?
Yep. Agreed between General William T. Sherman and Chief Barboncito, the 1868 treaty, agreed at the internment camp of Bosque Redondo in New Mexico, allowed which people to return to a portion of their ancestral lands, from which they'd been removed by the US Army in an event known as their Long Walk. Their reservation is now the largest in the US.
Choctaw, maybe? I'm not sure. Choctaw?
No, that's the Navajo, or the DNA, as they call themselves. Let's start the question. In an essay of 1936, which poet did T.S. Eliot describe as having done damage to the English language from which it has not wholly recovered, arguing that...
Darwin Cameron.
Milton.
It is John Milton, yes. We all remember that. Well done. 3 questions for you on linguistic morphology. In contrast to free morphemes, which can be used in isolation, what word is used to describe morphemes that cannot stand alone and must be attached to other morphemes? Why? Examples in English would include the plural suffix s.
Dimorphemes.
Conjunctive.
Like dependent.
Yeah, dependent.
Dependent morphemes.
It's bound. Bound morphemes are further subdivided into 2 groups: inflectional morphemes, which signal grammatical information, and what other type, which changes a word's meaning. Examples include the use of un to indicate negation.
Semantic.
Yeah, semantic is probably a good guess.
Semantic.
No, it's derivational. What term is used for a member of a set of alternative forms of a morpheme that realise the same function? An example would be the two endings en or n and ed or ed that form the past participle in words like taken and played, respectively.
Be like synonymous or something like that.
No. Oh, okay. Synonymous.
No, it's allomorph. Let's start the question. In David Hume's An Inquiry Concerning the Principles of Morals, a chapter on what concept follows one on benevolence? The 6th century Code of Justinian defines this concept as the constant and perpetual will to render to each his due, while the US philosopher...
Merton on.
Law.
Now, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. While the US philosopher John Rawls describes it as the first virtue of social institutions, the word in question appearing in the title of his 1971 work on the subject.
Darwin needs a heretic.
Justice.
It is indeed justice, yes. So he wrote A Theory of Justice. Your bonuses then, Darwin, 3 questions on bacteriophages, or viruses that infect bacteria. Derived from a Latin word for a box used to hold books or scrolls, what term is used to describe the proteinaceous head of a bacteriophage that surrounds its genetic material?
Nominate Strachan.
Capsid.
Yes. What term is used for the initial interaction of bacteriophages at the surface of the host bacteria? The term is used more generally to describe the accumulation of particles from a liquid or gas onto a solid surface.
It's like some type of like condensation or something
I
like
would
that.
have said invasion, but it's not that, like deposition or...
It's definitely not condensation.
I don't think so.
Deposition.
Yeah.
Deposition.
No, it's adsorption. Adsorption. What cycle is initiated by viruses such as the T4 bacteriophage, which replicate within bacterial cells, eventually causing the bacteria to burst open? In molecular biology, it is contrasted with the lysogenic cycle.
Nominate Strachan.
Lytic.
Yes, well done. Let's start the question. It's a picture round now. For your picture starter, you're going to see a selection of chapters from a 19th century work in translation with a specific word removed. For 10 points, I need you to tell me what single word fills all of the blanks you see.
Merton Cosnet.
Dream.
Yes, well worked out.
Forward.
Well done.
Yes,
For your
dreams.
picture starter, Merton, you saw chapters, didn't you, from Sigmund Freud's 1899 book, The Interpretation of Dreams. For your picture bonuses, 3 more selections of chapters from books by German thinkers. In each case, I need you to tell me the word that has been removed. First, from a 1947 book, the text is given here in translation, and I want your answer in English.
Oh, the culture industry is adorning all
Yes, but it is. but
Ideology?
That sounds
Oh,
good.
just give me a second. I think myth and ideology sounds right, I think.
Ideology.
Bad luck. You've done all the hard work. It's enlightenment. Those guys wrote The Dialectic of Enlightenment. Secondly, from a 1927 book, again, the text has been translated, but this time the term I want is a German one.
Dasein.
Pardon?
Dasein.
Nominate Ong.
Dasein.
Yes, as in from Heidegger's Being and Time. And lastly, from a 1951 book, first written in English.
Is it Hannah Arendt?
Yeah, but what is it? Is it fascism, authoritarianism? It's
The origins of totalitarianism?
Yes. Totalitarianism.
Totalitarian. Totalitarian.
Elliot, I'm so sorry. I can't take the answer you gave because it was the specific word I needed, which is totalitarian. Bad luck.
Okay, don't worry.
Bad luck. Now let's start the question. Which German physicist, born 1882, gives his name to all of the following? Together with John Mitchell Nuttall, a rule or law relating the half-life of a radioactive nucleus to the alpha particle energy.
Merton on.
Geiger.
Well done, it is indeed. Your bonus is then, Merton, 3 questions on a writer. The works of which leading figure of the Harlem Renaissance, born in Missouri in 1902, include a number of translations of Spanish and French language literature, such as Lorca's Gypsy Ballads or Jacques Roumen's Masters of the Dew?
Yeah, it's Langston Hughes.
Langston Hughes.
Yes. Together with Ben Frederick Carruthers, Hughes translated a selection of the poems of Nicolas Guillen, a prominent 20th century poet and political activist from which country?
Pretty sure it's Cuba.
Cool. Cuba.
Yes. Hughes also produced translations of a selection of works, including Give Me Your Hand and Those Who Don't Dance, by which Chilean poet,
Gabriel
the first
Mistral.
Latin American writer to be awarded the
Mistral.
Nobel Prize.
Gabriel
Well done.
Mistral.
Yes, it is. Well done. Let's start the question. From a Latin word meaning to filter, what 11-letter word describes a process in the hydrological cycle in which water passes through soil into porous or fractured rock, eventually reaching the water table? This word also describes a method of brewing coffee involving a...
Darwin Cameron.
Percolation.
Well done. It is indeed. Your bonuses, Darwin, are on dishes whose names have similar meanings. hallow hallow, with hallow meaning to mix, is a dessert consisting of shaved ice layered with a variety of toppings, originating in which Southeast Asian country? Common toppings include nata de coco, ube or purple yam ice cream, and saba bananas in syrup.
as well. Philippines.
Philippines?
Yes. Of uncertain origin, but most likely related to a word meaning to mix or beat together, what name from Maghrebi Arabic is given to a North African dish of eggs baked in a spiced tomato and pepper sauce, usually eaten at breakfast?
Yeah, is this...
I mean, it's like a Berber omelette.
No, it's like the Turkish dish with eggs in it.
It's not shakshuka.
Yeah, it's shakshuka.
Yeah.
That sounds Turkish.
Shakshuka?
It is shakshuka, and it's delicious. In Korean cuisine, what name literally meaning mixed rice is given to a dish of warm white rice topped with meat and or vegetables, gochujang sauce, and an egg arranged separately and mixed together by the diner before eating?
That sounds like bibimbap.
Yeah, bibimbap.
Bibimbap?
Yes, well done. Let's start the question. What four-letter prefix begins the names of all of the following? A typesetting machine created by Ottmar Mergenthaler, which printed letters in keyboard set matrices. An organic compound that, along with the alpha variety of a similarly named molecule, is one of the two essential fatty acids that cannot be synthesized by humans. And a floor covering whose name is derived from the Latin words for flax and oil.
Darwin White.
Lino.
Lino is correct, well done. Your bonuses, Darwin, are on chemists who lend their names to multiple reactions. Which scientist names both the synthesis in which aryl hydrozones are converted to indoles and an acid-catalysed esterification, the latter of which is sometimes co-named for Arthur Speyer?
Is this Liebig, maybe?
Speyer something.
Fisher is like a good
Fisher, Fisher-Tropsch.
Fisher?
Yes. Which American scientist won a share of the 2001 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his development of the multiple chirally catalysed redox reactions named for him?
This is Suzuki.
Yeah, try that. Let's go, quick.
Suzuki?
No, it's Sharpless. Which chemist gives his name to multiple ether rearrangements, as well as an alkene preparation in which an aldehyde or ketone reacts with one of his namesake reagents?
It's Holland, is it?
No, this could be Greenyard.
Greenyard?
Yeah, go for it.
Nominate Strachan?
Greenyard?
No, that's Georg Wittig. Fingers on buzzers, here's another starter for 10. Name either of the historic counties that have territory in the area that the historian and topographer William Camden's 16th century work Britannia calls Anglia Transwaliana, later translated as Little England beyond Wales, so named because of the entrenched use of English customs and language there, especially since the Norman conquest.
Darwin Strachan.
Pembrokeshire?
Yeah, Pembrokeshire and the other one's Carmarthenshire. Well done. Your bonuses, Darwin, are on place names in the UK. In each case, I need the name of a tree. The second most populous city in Northern Ireland has a name derived from a word denoting a grove of what type of tree? The name of this tree also appears in the names of London stations on the Northern Line near Edgware, on the Circle Line near Paddington, and the North London terminus of the Suffragette Line.
Oak. Royal Oak is near Paddington. On the Circle Line.
Okay. Oak?
Yes, it is oak, yeah. Derry means oak grove. The short common name of what tree precedes Tun, that's T-O-N, in the names of three localities in Greater Manchester? Bourne, in the name of a Derbyshire market town, and Ford, in the name of an international railway station in Kent.
Ashford, yeah. Ash.
Ash?
Yes. A large town on the Mersey estuary opposite Liverpool and a Royal Golf Club near Southport both have names that contain an element derived from the name of what tree?
Southport, so near Liverpool.
This is so not my area.
Yeah, I mean, you could just try oak, something
Yeah,
generic.
we've
We've had oak, yeah. Willow or birch. I don't know, try birch.
Birch?
Birch is correct. For Birkenhead and Birkdale. Music round now. And for your music starter, you will hear a piece of classical music from 1790. For 10 points, name the composer.
Merton Ong.
Mozart.
No, you can hear a bit more, Darwin. You obviously can't confer. Come on, someone have a go.
Darwin Neverhertig.
Meyerbeer?
No, that was Joseph Haydn. We'll take your bonuses when we get the next starter right. Which lanthanide element is represented by the letter G in the medical abbreviation GBCA, referring to a family of contrast agents that can be injected into the body...
Merton Cosnet.
Gallium?
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. Into the body before an MRI scan to improve the clarity and quality of the images produced. Discovered in 1880 and named after a Finnish scientist, this element also has applications in magnetocaloric refrigeration technologies.
Darwin Strachan.
Thallium.
No, it's gadolinium. Let's start the question. I need a specific word here. Quote, almost everyone prefers cash to holding a debt which yields so low a rate of interest. In this event, the monetary authority would have lost effective control over the rate of interest. That was John Maynard Keynes' description of a so-called trap named for...
Merton Cosnet.
Liquidity.
Well done, it is indeed. For your music starter, you heard part of Haydn's cantata Ariana a Naxos, inspired by the story of Ariadne from Greek mythology. For your music bonuses, you'll hear 3 more pieces of music inspired by her story. I want you to name the composer in each case. First, this piece from 1608.
Is it English or?
No.
It's not in English.
Just Australian.
Sure. I feel like it'd be Monteverdi though.
Monteverdi?
Yes. Next, this piece from the early 18th century.
Early 18th
Is it around that time?
Could it be Gluck? Is Gluck around
No idea. Anything better?
then? I don't think so.
It's Italian. No.
Anything? No.
No, just to go.
Gluck.
No, it's Alessandro Scarlatti. Finally, this early 20th century opera.
Disney? Don't know.
No, it's in German.
No.
Oh, it's in German. Do you think it'd be Schoenberg?
No idea. Schoenberg?
No, that was Richard Strauss. Now, let's start the question. In a 1965 film, Rupert Davies became the first actor to play which fictional character on screen, in a small role opposite Richard Burton as Alec Leamas. As a leading character, this figure has since been portrayed by Alec Guinness and Gary Oldman.
Merton Duncan.
Smiley.
It is George Smiley, well done. 3 questions for you, Merton, on a cricket tournament. Running between 1977 and 1979, what breakaway cricket tournament was created by Australian media magnate Kerry Packer to provide sport for his Channel 9 network following a broadcast rights dispute with the Australian Cricket Board? It was often abbreviated to WSC.
World Series cricket.
World Series cricket?
Yes, the tournament's rest of the world team was captained by which South African-born player who'd previously captained England and had helped recruit many players to Packer's tournament?
South African born player.
70s.
In the 70s. The 70s, oh, I don't know.
I can pass.
Jeffrey Boycott or
Anything?
David. I have no idea.
Pass.
That's Tony Gregg. Besides the team representing Australia and the rest of the world, the third to appear in both seasons of the tournament was made up of players who usually represented what Test team?
Maybe the West Indies?
Yeah. It's cool. West Indies?
Yes, well done. Let's start the question. Name either of the geographical areas that give their names to trilogies of novels in the Fortunes of War series by Olivia Manning. One is a historical region whose name was used for the post-First World War...
Merton Fleetwood Law.
Balkan?
Yes, that's one. The Levant is the other. Your bonuses are on different notations for the derivative of a function. Which mathematician, born in 1736, gives his name to the system of notation that uses a prime symbol to denote a derivative?
I think this is Leibniz.
Leibniz?
No, it's Lagrange. The use of an uppercase D to denote a derivative is usually known as the notation of which Swiss mathematician, though it is believed to have actually been introduced by Louis Arbogast?
Swiss mathematicians. Was Goldbach Swiss? I don't know.
Leibniz wasn't Swiss, was he?
No.
Bernoulli, maybe?
Bernoulli?
No, it's Euler. Still sometimes used for time derivatives, dot notation, in which a derivative is indicated by one or more dots above the dependent variable, was used in early works by which scientist?
Newton.
Pardon?
Newton.
Newton.
It is Newton, yeah, puts you in the lead. In mathematics, what six-letter adjective is used to describe a function that is continuously differentiable up to a desired...
Darwin, neither Hertek.
Smooth.
It is smooth, yes. Your bonuses, then, Darwin, are on a film and its influence. Comprising almost entirely still images, which 1962 film, directed by Chris Marker, tells the story of a prisoner who is forced to time travel in order to help save his post-apocalyptic society?
Le Jeté.
Well done. Producer Tim Kaine has cited La Jetée as an influence upon both him and artist Leonard Boyarsky in their development of the first video game in which ongoing series, first developed by Interplay Productions in 1997.
It's going to be something with time travel.
Chrono Trigger?
Chrono Trigger.
No, it's Fallout. Itself a loose adaptation of La Jetée, the 1995 film 12 Monkeys is the work of which director, whose other films include 1981's Time Bandits and 1985's Brazil?
Terry Gilliam.
It is indeed, yep, well done. In Buddhism, the 6th century Chinese teacher Tian Tai and the 13th century Japanese priest Nichiren both stressed the primacy of what Mahayana Sutra? It introduces the eternal Buddha who attained perfect enlightenment in the infinite past and is known in English by a short name after a distinctive water plant.
Merton Cosnet.
Lotus.
It is the Lotus Sutra, yes. Your bonuses are on diarchies, or countries with two heads of state. The co-princes of Andorra are positions held by the President of France and the Roman Catholic archbishops of what diocese, headquartered in Catalonia?
Yeah, it's like Girona, I think.
Go for it.
Girona?
No, that's Urgell. In January 2025, the Congress of what country approved reforms that made President Daniel Ortega and his wife, Rosario Murillo, co-presidents under an authoritarian constitution?
South America.
Bolivia, maybe?
Try, yeah.
Bolivia?
No, he's Nicaragua. The role of head of state of what country is shared by two captains regent, elected since the late 13th century to serve 6-month terms?
Is this San Marino?
It is San Marino, yes. It's scores level. Picture round. For your picture starter, you're going to see a sculpture by an Italian artist. For 10 points, I need the name of the sculptor.
Darwin Cameron.
Donatello.
It is Donatello, yes. For your picture starter, you saw Donatello's sculpture of St. George. For your picture bonuses, Darwin, 3 more depictions of the saint in art. 5 points for each artist you can name. First, this Italian artist.
That's Uccello. Uccello.
Yes. Secondly, this is an embroidery by which Irish-born artist who worked mostly in Scotland?
Oh, this is old.
I have no idea. To be honest. Do you have any?
Go for Harry Clark.
Nominate neither Hertig.
Harry Clark.
No, it's Traquair. And finally, this Russian artist.
That's Chagall. Actually, no. Wait, hang on. Is it Chagall?
Yes.
Who else would you think was?
Do you know?
Kandinsky or something.
No, surely.
I don't think so.
Chagall.
No, it is Kandinsky. Bad luck. Now, start the question. What word is this? In neurology, it can follow nerve to indicate the electrical signal transmitted along a neuron.
Darwin Stricken.
Impulse.
Well done. Your bonuses, Darwin, are on precision in computer science. Single precision number format is also known as FP32 format, where 32 is the number of bits it uses to store the number, and FP stands for what? This term refers to a way of storing decimal numbers in 3 parts, a sign, an exponent, and a mantissa.
So that's sign exponent.
Six.
Point, I think.
Fixed point, maybe.
I can't remember.
Floating point.
Floating point, exactly.
Floating point.
Nominate Strachan.
Floating point.
Yes. According to Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers Standard 754, in FP32 format, how many bits are used to store the aforementioned unsigned exponent component?
64, I don't know. It's in FP32.
32, maybe 8.
4, right?
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
4.
No, it is 8. Bad luck. Developed in the 1950s at IBM by John Backus, which programming language was one of the first to use single and double precision floating point number formats?
Fortran.
Nominate neither Hertig.
Fortran.
Yes, well done. Now let's start the question. Featuring several lions rampant against a blue field, the first ever coat of arms passed between generations was given by Henry I in 1128 to which man, who became Henry's son-in-law in the same year following his marriage to Matilda?
Darwin Cameron.
Henry V of the
No.
Holy Roman Empire.
Merton Cosnet.
John of Gaunt.
No, that's Geoffrey of Anjou. Now let's start the question. In botany, what adjective derived from the Latin for feathered or winged is used to refer to a type of leaf pattern in which leaves are arranged in parallel rows either side of a common stem?
Darwin Strachan.
Frilled.
No.
Merton Duncan.
Tessellated.
No, I'll tell you, it's pinnate. Now let's start a question. First published in the early 20th century, Odour of Chrysanthemums, The Woman Who Rode Away and The Rocking Horse Winner are among...
Darwin Cameron.
D.H. Lawrence.
They are D.H. Lawrence, well done. Your bonuses are on crater names used by Giovanni Riccioli in his 1651 mapping of the moon, the origin of many of the modern names of lunar features. Following the name used by Michael van Langren a few years earlier, Riccioli labelled one large crater close to the moon's northeast limb with the name of which mortal lover of the goddess Selene in Greek myth? This figure is the subject of a poetic romance by John Keats.
So Selene's the goddess of the moon.
Yeah.
So could it be the sun or like Helios or
Poetic romance
something?
by
Come on. Come on.
Pass.
No, it's Endymion. Riccioli named a small impact crater near the Lacus Somniorum after which figure in Greek myth, the father of Andromeda. This figure is also the namesake of a constellation, a star in which is the prototype of a class of pulsating variable star.
Did he say Andromeda?
Yeah.
Andromeda and... Oh, God, I've completely blanked on this. Do you have any ideas? Pass.
Is Cepheus. Two neighbouring craters near the Lacus Mortis were named after Hercules and which titan from Greek myth, encountered and tricked by Hercules in his 11th labour?
Atlas. Oh, Atlas. Atlas. Yeah.
Atlas.
Yes, well done. Let's start the question. In his satirical essay, Misopogon, meaning beard haters, which Roman emperor used his beard as a symbol of his...
Merton Cosnet.
Julian the Apostate.
Well done. Your bonuses are on the 19th century French architect Eugène Viollet-le-Duc, noted for his restorations of prominent medieval buildings. Early in his career, Viollet-le-Duc was commissioned to restore the Romanesque Basilica of Vézelay in Burgundy, long a site of pilgrimage on account of its relics of which biblical figure? Legend says she travelled to southern France after the crucifixion.
Mary Magdalene, maybe? Mary Magdalene?
Yes, this architect later worked on which cathedral in the Somme department north of Paris? It is France's largest Gothic cathedral.
No, it's the offensive in World War One. I can't remember. Rouen.
No, that was Amiens.
That's it.
From 1852 until 1879, Viollet-le-Duc worked on the fortifications of which town southeast of Toulouse? Its medieval walls have featured in numerous films.
Carcassonne?
Yes, well done. Let's start the question. In which capital city have the group known as Madres de Plaza de Mayo met every Thursday since 1977? The group was originally set up for the purpose of demonstrating outside the Casa Rosada government building to seek justice regarding the disappearances of their children.
Merton Cosnet.
Madrid?
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. During the Dirty War.
Darwin White.
Buenos Aires.
It is indeed, yes. 3 bonuses for you on a British writer. Telling the story of a shell-shocked soldier returning from the trenches, the 1918 modernist work The Return of the Soldier was the debut novel of which feminist, novelist, journalist and public intellectual born in 1892?
It's not Lewis Darwin. Sanger or something.
Come on.
Edith Sitwell.
No, that was Rebecca West. Taking its title from symbols in local folklore, Black Lamb and Grey Falcon is a travelogue by West documenting 3 trips taken around which kingdom? It was released in 1941, the same year the Axis powers invaded. And it's Young King, and at the gong, Merton of 130 and Darwin of 175. Well, the answer to that last one was Yugoslavia. Oh, Merton. You played so fantastically well, and it was such a magnificent match, which was so tight until the last possible moment against a brilliant team. But I know that's no consolation, and I know it hurts like hell to lose. But you've been absolutely magnificent in this series, and you've played so well against ridiculously strong teams. Thank you so much. We've loved getting to know you and watching you excel. Darwin, to win against a team that was that strong is an amazing performance. We shall see you in the semi-finals. Congratulations to you. Commiserations to Merton, but I hope very, very much indeed that you can join us next time for the first of this year's semi-final matches. But until then, it is goodbye from Merton College, Oxford.
Goodbye.
Bye.
It's goodbye from Darwin College, Cambridge.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.